test. Man test, Adrian Prado.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I have a question for the audience. First, for the guys. Guys, have you ever been put in a situation where it's as if your manhood was being tested? Okay. Ladies, have you ever placed your guys in a situation where it's as if their manhood was being tested? Some of you may have hesitated in answering, and that's okay. I would have hesitated too. I would have been wondering, what does this guy mean by manhood being tested? Well, don't worry, I'll go ahead and explain. The type of man test I'm referring to relates back to ancient times, back when the primordial ooze was still at work on our backwater planet Earth. And it's still as relevant today, providing and protecting the two P's, the very reasons why cavemen journeyed beyond their humble dwellings in order to karate kick a saber-toothed tiger in the face for food. Or why cavemen uppercut pterodactyls in order to stop them from taking their cave children from their cave yards. That's the type of man test I'm referring to. Now, recently I was chosen to have my manhood tested, and I passed with flying colors. Not that any of you guys should be surprised or anything. And it was against one of our most ancient foes, Mother Nature. Now, giving credit to where credit's due, it's not as if I had to wrestle the mighty saber-toothed tiger, or harpoon the majestic pterodactyl. But some may say, the opponent I faced was mighty nonetheless, perhaps even scarier than both the tiger and the dactyl. This enemy goes by many names. The scourge of kitchens, the terror of toilets, the royalty of waste. This animal's solely responsible for making your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other turn on the bathroom light in the middle of the night while you're trying to sleep and waking you with an incessant glow. This fearsome beast is none other than the much feared cockroach. Now allow me to start from the very beginning. Like most epic battles, the day was like any other. Perhaps there was an extra stillness in the air, as if the universe itself was weighted on bated breath. My girlfriend and I went out to a fine dinner with her friend from out of town, and on our way back from Santa Barbara to Carpinteria, our moods were high, our spirits were jovial, naive to the events that were yet to occur. Now, when we got back to our apartment, we gathered our to-go bags. I walked into our apartment with our food, placed it on the kitchen table, and went into my room to change. But no more than a few minutes into changing, I hear a blood-curdling scream, "Ah!" and shouts for my name, "Adrian!" I sprang into the living room like former Olympian Carl Lewis to see what the problem was. And I see pressed against the wall two girls with fingers pointed forward. Now, getting no verbal help at what panicked them so, the only instructions I could take was a direction that their shaking fingers were pointing, which was an open to-go bag. So steadily, I crept over to see what was inside, and there it was, the biggest cockroach I'd ever seen, 2 inches long, half an inch thick. Now, I can't tell you how a cockroach got inside a Tide to-go bag, but what I can tell you is that this cockroach was not domesticated, and it was 100% feral. Even as I approached it, it started letting out this rattly hiss, and started doing these territorial push-ups with no fear of me whatsoever. I have to admit, it was a little bit emasculating. And as we stared at each other, eye to compound eye, honestly, I blinked first. And I think it was in that moment of hesitation that my girlfriend saw me pondering life with our new roommate, the cockroach, that she screamed at me, "Adrian, snap out of it! Kill it!" Flustered and confused at everything that was going on at once, perhaps helping my new roommate move in, or possibly getting smothered in my sleep by my girlfriend for letting this animal live. I decided it was time to channel my inner caveman and protect my cave. So I did. I took one more step towards this hissing, Jack LaLanne cockroach. And I soon realized that my inner caveman was not caveman enough. So I ran away. I dove into the closet, pulled out the only tools that would allow me to go to war with such a fearsome opponent. A pair of dish gloves and a can of Raid. Now, though the battle was short, it was fierce. Each side was gaining and losing territory. And I can truly attest to the statement that in every great battle, the first casualty is that of innocence. Because that night I walked into the apartment a boy. And that evening, I came out a man, and newly indoctrinated member in the Man's Test Hall of Fame.